Maybe you from the 1970s, when the Los Angeles Rams was known as the Prison Foursome because of that defensive line. Or maybe you in the city of St. Louis, the gateway to the Midwest, where the greatest show on turf brought home the first ever Super Bowl championship. Or maybe you in the here and now, with the Rams back in LA, winners of Super Bowl 56. It doesn't matter, because when it comes to this, it's all about the Los Angeles Rams. Horns up, Rams South. Time to talk Rams football.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, December 18th, 2025. It is a massive way to kick off week 16, as it is our Los Angeles Rams traveling up to the Pacific Northwest to take on the Seattle Seahawks in a massive NFC West divisional game here in week 16 to kick off week 16, that is. Thank you for tuning in to Ramily Talk here today. It is your Rams Nation East Coast station with the playmaker down there, Silence here. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on the Playmakers Network YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you are watching on my personal LinkedIn page, send me a connect through LinkedIn and then slide over to the Playmakers Network YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can stay tuned in with the Playmakers Network. And those of you who don't know, we have officially changed into the Playmakers Network. We are no longer the Playmakers blog. We the Playmakers Network now. And it's a good feeling. It's a good change. Some of y'all have given good feedback on the new logo, on the changes that we have made here. So I really appreciate the feedback and the thumbs up on what we are creating here. Man, it's a massive week, so I'm not going to take too much of your time because we're going to jump right into it right away because, oh, man. We got to go back to week 15. And in week 15, we took on the Detroit Lions at SoFi Stadium back at home. People wanted to see, can Jared Goff come back to LA and win in LA, because Matthew Stafford has tried a couple of times to go back to Detroit and win, and has not happened. Jared Goff came back to LA one time, did not happen. But what happened on week 15? Well, let's just say the home team continues to run this rivalry so far. The Rams put up another 40 burger on the year, 41-34 victory for the Rams. And it was the second half. It was the second half. Defense held the Detroit Lions to 10 points, which all came in the fourth quarter. The offense put up 24 in the second half, outscoring the Detroit Lions 24-10 to get the 7-point win because, hey, Detroit had a 24-17 lead over us, and there was some things that was going on. Defense was struggling to stop the Detroit Lions, but they got it together. Chris Shula and that defense came out in the second half ready to ball. Matthew Stafford, he was balling. After that first quarter interception that he threw, he was on one. You know, and here are your player statistics here for the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff, 25 for 41, 3 touchdowns. He also threw for 338 yards. Jameer Gibbs, he wasn't effective in the run game, but he did some things in the passing game. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 13 catches, 164 yards reception with 2 touchdowns. And then on the Rams side, Matthew Stafford, 24 for 38, 2 touchdowns and interception. Kyron Williams, 78 yards on 15 carries with 2 touchdowns. Puka Nacua, 9 receptions for a career high, 181 receiving yards. What a game that was. We did take a blow, though. We got the win, but we did take a blow because Devontae Adams re-aggravated a hamstring injury, which will make him doubtful for tonight's game. But, man, I'll talk about more of that when we preview the Seahawks game a little later. But it was what you expect between two great offenses, two great teams, and defenses trying to figure out ways to stop the opposing offense. The Rams and Chris Shula was able to do it in the second half. Unfortunately for Calvin Sampson, if I believe his name is correctly, who the DC coordinator for the Lions, he couldn't figure out the Rams, even without Devontae Adams. By the way, shout out to Cody Parkinson, man. He has been balling lately. This man has 6 receiving touchdowns in the last 6 games. Cody Parkinson has done his job at the tight end slot for us with the Los Angeles Rams. Uh, Man, the fact that we have 3 tight ends we can go to. Terry Ferguson is still a rookie, still trying to find his way. You still have David Allen. He's been injured and he's not been in the lineup. But hey, the other tight ends they have filled in admirably, doing the job pretty well, keeping us running the 13 personnel. I can't say enough about the tight ends that we have, man. It's a real blessing to have tight ends like that to go alongside with a Puka Nakua and a Devontae Adams. And then you can throw in Montfield in there whenever he gets an opportunity. We still got Tutu Atwell. He can throw the top of the deep. By the way, hell of a catch by Tutu Atwell down the sideline coming back to the ball. Hell of a catch, sir. Great job catching that ball from Matthew Stafford. It wasn't a perfect pass, but you had found a way to catch the ball and keep your feet in bounds. Great job, man. Phenomenal job. So that was that. That was it. Here's the team statistics here. Back-to-back weeks with 500 total offense from the Rams. This one was 519. I forgot what the total was against the Cardinals, but it was ugly. Lions had 396. The one turnover, the Matthew Stafford interception back in the first quarter. Penalties, 2 penalties for 8 yards, man. Clean. We are playing clean football. You have to play clean football down the stretch because when you play clean football down the stretch, you make it harder for the opposing team to get you because you're not handing them, you're not handing them a first down on defense. You're not costing yourself on the offensive end. You stand within the chain limits. You stand ahead of the chains for the most part, which is good. That 2 penalties for 8 yards in Detroit, they had 4 penalties for 25 yards. Now, other people will feel good about that, but when you have 4 penalties for 25 yards, you probably say if we didn't have that penalty, it probably would have took away a touchdown from the Rams, or we could have kept a drive alive somewhere. But things like that. Not good on third down, but hey, we was good on fourth down. 2 and 9 on third down. We was perfect on fourth down. Same thing with the Detroit. They was 5 for 14 on third down, but they was 2 for 2 on fourth down. Detroit was 3 out of 4 in the red zone. We was 4 out of 6. It is what it is, but hey, man, we moved to 11-3, man. It was a great one. Happy to get to 11-3. The Seahawks, they moved to 11-3 as well, and we will get to them when we come back from this long commercial break to preview the Seahawks game against the Los Angeles Rams on Thursday Night Football.
Whether it's the men's college game,
The way that this season has been going, anything is possible.
the women's college game,
And how passionate Angel Reese was at that press conference, they got their mojo now.
the WNBA,
AJ Wilson on Twitter 1 and 2, followed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, Jackie Young.
or the NBA.
The Lakers had a 0.8 chance of winning. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? LeBron James by himself outdid the Clippers.
You will get any and all of the information right at your fingertips or your earlobes. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down all things basketball in Shooting Lights Out on the Playmakers blog, network, YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts.
Sports fans are gearing up, whether it be for the madness of March, whether it be for the Super Bowl, or even a little thing called WrestleMania. You can get all that at Fanatics, where they have a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, the NHL, the NCAA, and the WWE. So go on and show that pride, that passion, that dedication fan that you are by repping your team, your league, or your favorite player. Fanatics, official license, everything.
Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kurt the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green That's how I become a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. On YouTube and where you can find all podcasts.
And welcome back to Ramily Talk here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for tuning in on today. Shout out to my man Dustin Henry. I wanted to play that no credentials required commercial for him. He's a Seahawks fan, so I wanted to show him some love. Also, show some love to Ryan McCarthy, man. It's not been a fun season for him, but he's the host of No Credentials Required. Love that show. It's a very great show to watch. So I want to show my man Dustin and Ryan some love, especially Dustin. He's a Seahawks fan, so because that's where we going next, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, the Rams made it to 11-3 with a win over the Detroit Lions. The Seattle Seahawks, they went to 11-3 with the win over the Indianapolis Colts. I think the Seahawks played the Colts last week, if I remember correctly. Yes, they played the Colts last week. It was the return of Phillip Rivers. After 5 years retired, he returned to the Colts because of the injury to Daniel Jones. Hope for a speedy recovery. Daniel Jones. Speaking of speedy recovery, speaking of full recoveries and thoughts and prayers, my thoughts and prayers go out to Patrick Mahomes for the Kansas City Chiefs and Michael Parsons for the Green Bay Packers, both having a season ended with ACL injuries. Pray that y'all have a full, hard-working, full recovery to come back to play football as best as you can, because we hate to see injuries go down. Yes, we know the Chiefs are no longer the power in the AFC for right now, but you don't want it because Patrick Mahomes is injured. You don't want that. Green Bay, that was going on a trajectory. They was in the conversation with the Rams and the Seahawks and the 49ers of being the best team in the NFC. Then you lose Michael Parsons, and we hate seeing that. So best wishes to Daniel Jones, Patrick Mahomes, and Michael Parsons are recovering from season-ending injuries. So the Seahawks, they hosted the Indianapolis Colts with the turn of Phillip Rivers, and it was a hell of a game, man. That was a tight, close-knit game, and the Seahawks, they won them basically on field goals. 18-16 was the final score. Jason Myers hit 6 field goals to give the Seattle Seahawks the home win, which was much needed for them because they would not have been happy to coming into this game 10-4, but the Rams being 11-3, because that would definitely have been a clinching type game for the Rams going forward, but it's not. I'm gonna show why in a minute. But yes, they won the game. It was not a pretty game. Sam Darnold was 22 for 36 with 271. Jackson Smith-Jigba, who's been one of the best receivers in the league. I mean, there's no way around it. He's been one of the best receivers in the league. 7 catches for 113. The leading rusher was Zach Charbonnet. 8 carries for 31 yards. They couldn't do much. But the defense for the Seahawks, they did their job. Phillip Rivers, 18 for 27, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 120 yards to the air. Jonathan Taylor, 25 carries for 87 yards. It was a defensive battle, and the Seahawks came out on top in a much-needed way for this game. Thursday night football. The Pacific Northwest, where conditions say it should be a raining conditions in Seattle, which is not surprising whatsoever because it usually rains in Seattle more than anywhere else in the country. So let me check the weather forecast here. What are we looking at? No, we're looking at partly cloudy skies. We might not get this. They say 10% precipitation, so we might be good for tonight's game. Let's go here. As you can see here, both teams are 11-3. Seahawks are a 1.5 point favorite at home, and it started up that way, and it has not changed ever since. Over on the 47.5. But before I continue on to dive in this game, let's go back to Week 11, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who remember, that was our midnight game, our color rush game. We was at home against the Seahawks. We took this one 21-19. It was we would take the win, but it wasn't a pleasing performance overall. I can put it like that. We made Sam Darnold throw 4 interceptions, and we can only win by 2 points. Matthew Stafford struggled. He was 15 for 28, 130 and 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams had 12 carries, 91 yards and a touchdown. Puka Nacua had 7 catches for 75 yards. Justin Smith-Njigba showed out 9 catches, 105 yards. Keno Walker the third, 16 carries, 1 touchdown on 67 yards rushing. And the aforementioned Sam Darnold, 29 for 44, 279 through the air with 4 interceptions. So the defense of the Seahawks kept them in the game, but the defense of the Rams kept the Seahawks from taking the game. That's the best way I can put it. Back in week 11, by the way, I still love them uniforms. Them midnight uniforms. I love those. I really do love them uniforms. If there's a way that we can rock those twice a year, once a year, twice a year, I'm good for it. We don't got to overdo it. We don't have to overdo it, but once or twice a year, man, I love them uniforms. Them black uniforms, those actually they are midnight blue uniforms. They look black, but they are midnight blue uniforms. Love them. I absolutely love those uniforms. But we got the win. We moved to 8-2. Seahawks dropped to 7-3. We took control of the NFC West at that moment in time. That's before we went to Carolina and we got beat. And the Seahawks haven't lost the game since losing to us. So that's why both teams are 11-3 right now, going into this massive, massive game in the NFC West title race, and also a fight for the number 1 seed as well in the NFC race as well. And don't forget, the San Francisco 49ers are right there at 10-4. Let's not forget about the 49ers. And to be honest with you, that is the most dangerous team in the NFC right now, in my opinion, because they are getting healthy. Brock Purdy is getting his swagger back. That team look like they are ready to rock and roll. And Robert Saleh, whatever he's done with this defense, they are fixing the issues that they had despite all the injuries that they got. So do not sleep on the 49ers. Okay? Don't sleep on the 49ers. They are right there in the midst as well with us and the Seahawks. But this game right here, this game will go a long way for the team that goes 12-3 tonight. It's going to be a disappointment for the team that drops to 11-4 tonight. All right? Now, the season stand is going up to this far with the Rams. Matthew Stafford is still one of the leading candidates for league MVP. I don't see who else can top him. They might try to make a case with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. We'll see how that goes. But Matthew Stafford, you're talking over 3,700 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. That meant for every, you can literally say for every 1,000 yards, that man has thrown a touchdown. 3,700, that man has 37 touchdown passes. Kyron Williams, he has 130 rushing yards with 10 touchdowns, but he could have had more. But the fact that we have a dual-headed running back now with Blake Corum actually getting some carries as well, and Blake Corum is showing off as well. I like the fact that we have a 1-2 punch in the backfield officially now with Blake Corum and Kyron Williams. Puka Nacua, who will probably get more targets tonight because of Devontae Adams' injury. He's at 1,300. He's over 1,300 receiving yards with 6 touchdowns. And the fact with Devontae Adams, he is doubtful for today's game. He should not play this game. Matter of fact, I would go as far to say sit Devontae Adams for the rest of the season. We got this game. You got the Falcons next week. And then you close the season at home with the Cardinals. Let's sit Devontae down. Hopefully we can survive these 3 games. Get the number 1 seed. So that would give Devontae Adams a whole month of rest period. A whole month of rest period with that hamstring. He can come back for the division round. We can have our playoff round. We can win the division round. Once we win the division round, we in the NFC Championship. We win the NFC Championship. We in Santa Clara for the Super Bowl. It's pretty much simple. That's how important this game is, though. This game is so important. Instead of having, it was determined who will have 2 games to get to the Super Bowl or 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. Even though we got the Super Bowl, we played 3 games because we played the Cardinals. In 2021, we went through the Cardinals, we went through the Bucks, and then we went through the 49ers to get back home for the Super Bowl, and we beat the Cincinnati Bengals. So if we can get that bye week, we need it to have Devontae Adams rest for a whole month. maybe get Stafford a week or two of rest as well, man, we should be good to go. But back to the other half, the Seahawks. Sam Thunder's over 3,400 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Kyrie Williams closing in on 800 rushing yards with 4 touchdowns. Jackson Smith legit, but I told you that man's been a stud. That man is over 1,500 yards receiving, and he has 6 less catches than Puka Nacua with 3 more touchdowns than Puka Nacua. So Jackson Smith legit, but man, shoot, that man might be rookie of the year in my opinion. Yeah, he might be up for offensive player there because that man is on one. I don't know what to tell you. Justin Smith, he is the real deal. He is the real deal. Now, what I would say is this: which defenses between the Rams and the Seahawks tonight? Which defense will make the key plays, the key stops, the key turnovers in a game like this on a Thursday night? Primetime solo slot. Kurt Hershey, Al Mike is on the call. Which defense will make that one play or that one series that changes the game around? Like I said, in week 11, talking to 119, Sam Darnold threw 4 picks, but the defense didn't allow the Rams to blow him out. But the Seahawks defense did not allow the Rams to blow him out the gym. But the Rams defense did not allow the Seahawks to snatch the game from the jaws of defeat. So which defense will make that key stop? Which quarterback will cut down on the turnovers and make sure their team's in prime position to win this game? Can the Rams still run the ball on the Seahawks? Will the Seahawks finally find a running game? That's one of the main things they are criticizing the Seahawks is they don't have a running game. So it's a lot. It's a lot of factors in this one. You got Sean McVay, the offensive genius that he is, and you got Mike McDonald, who's been in charge of the Seahawks defense as the head coach. It's a lot of matchups in here. It's week 2. It's the second matchup, man. And this one is a whole lot more important because this one will put the winner of this game at 12-3, and in a prime position for the number 1 seed because after this game, the Seahawks, they go to Carolina next week. We've been there before. We took an L. That's why the Seahawks are right there tied with us again. And then they have to finish the season in Santa Clara against the 49ers, a healthy, rejuvenated 49ers team. The Seahawks, their last 2 games are not very easy worth, okay? Those are 2 games they have to play. They can't take the 2 weeks off. They have no option. Even if they win tonight, they have no option. They have to play both of them games. And then for the Rams, after Thursday night football, we go to Monday Night Football down to the ATL to take on the Atlanta Falcons. Bijan Robinson is a beast. Drake London, he's been out. So you can handle Bijan Robinson. Kirk Cousins, he like to give you a gift. So that could be a dub. If we win tonight, you're talking about going to 13-3. Probably clinching the number 1 seed in the division in week 17. And then we host the Arizona Cardinals, who we dropped 40 on and put up 520 yards on in the desert not that long ago. Even though they were battling, which I'm proud that the Rams didn't take the Cardinals lightly that week. They came prepared in week 12. They did not take the Cardinals lightly, and they handled business like I wanted them to. So a win tonight for the Rams makes the journey a little more easy for the number 1 seed in the NFC West title to get the bye week in the playoffs. A Seahawks win, they still got to fight for that division crown and the number 1 seed because they have the Panthers and they have the 49ers. So their pass a little more harder than ours. So if we can get through the night, we are in prime position for the number 1 seed and also in prime position to get Matthew Stafford his first ever MVP. Because I feel if we beat Seattle tonight and Matthew Stafford played clean football, he's wrapping up the MVP race. He's wrapping up the MVP race. It is what it is. But this is where we at, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's the night. It is on 8:15 Prime Video. Kicking off week 16 and a very massive game up in the Pacific Northwest. So you know how this ends. Horns up, Rams house is all about the Los Angeles Rams. Thank you for tuning in for this week's episode of Ramily Talk. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you're watching on the Playmakers Network YouTube channel. And I'll talk to you later. Also, remember, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and whatever else you listen to your podcasts at, you can also listen to Ramily Talk and everything we bring to you. Rams Nation, East Coast Station, the Playmakers out. Enjoy tonight's game. I'll see you next week.